How you doing, guys? Hopefully very well. It's a beautiful day. Let's get going. All right. In the winter of 1776, there was a speech made, and this was to rally the troops of the Revolutionary War. Thomas Paine, what he said was, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in his crisis, shrink from the service of his country. But he who stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered." Doesn't that ring true? So check this out. I want to break that down slightly, right? And this is, you could break this down to a lot more than this, but it's very basic, and I believe it's important. I believe it's really important. Try men's souls. What does he mean by that? Well, I believe what he's talking about is a certain amount of character traits or whatever that are derived from this soul, right? That you have, right? Spirit, your strength, your conviction, right? And your valor, right? It's easy to talk about these things, but do you have these character traits? Are these to the core, all the way to where it'd be your soul, like into your soul, right? Does your soul back this? I guess you won't know until you're pretty much put in that position, right? You're summer soldier. What is that in this context? Well, it's the appearance of honor, a check of virtue that has yet to be cashed at the bank of trials. You have not been in the situation where you actually have to prove that your talk is valid, right? And the problem, and it kind of ties in with where I'm going with this, the problem is a lot of people truly believe that what they're posting on the internet or what they're saying, that they will actually stand by. What I happen to believe, probably know, I know this, and a lot of people know this, is the only way you're actually going to stand by your word is if you have God. Now we'll go into that a little further. I'll explain why. In crisis, they will shrink from the service of their country. Well, what happened was all their promises and all their, what they maybe even thought internally and what they projected, well, it was a revelation of a hollow spirit, right? They have no valor when the persecution comes, no conviction, no strength, and their spirit's weak. Why? Why is that? Because they don't have the Holy Spirit. That's why. They may have spirit, they may have American spirit, a patriotic spirit, they don't have the Holy Spirit. And check this out. He who stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Those type of people that stand in the storm, they'll stand against all persecution. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. And the only reason they're able to do that is because they believe in a higher authority, right? They're not just out there because their rights are being taken or, they don't like the way things are going. That's not that. But you don't have God, you will fold. You will eventually take the knee. You are not willing to die for it. Guarantee it. There might be some crazy guys. I'm sure there is. I know a few crazy people. But for the most part, you got to have God to be able to have that true spirit. Okay? Being willing to take the persecution. Because guess what? What happens right now in America if you don't submit, right, to all these new ideals, right? The death of the West. It's a lot of persecution. And what does everybody do? They keep their mouths shut, don't they? Unless they're in their circles of close friends. Persecution is accepted as a symptom of battle, death before dishonor. He who stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. They were willing to take all persecution. They accepted that as a symptom of battle. They chose death before dishonor. Now, death before dishonor to who? Was it a worldly ideal or place? No. Death before dishonor to God. This is the land of God. The formation of this country was of God. It was built on godly principles. That's the whole idea behind freedom, is that you have freedom through divine governance. God being at the absolute center, and that is the fabric of our nation. So the summer soldier will go out and stand and for a current president or whatever, right? And then they fold when, well, you see this right now. A lot of people fell off the bandwagon, right, with Trump. Not that they don't support him, I'm not saying that, but as soon as some rallies are still coming back, but as soon as the fun was gone, and now like they're getting kind of persecuted, right? Gone. Back at home, trying to go back to their daily lives, probably wearing masks. Don't wear a mask. Don't wear it. That is a visual to the oppressor that you are just a submissive, compliant, don't wear a mask. So he who stands for it now, death before dishonor. Dishonor to God. And why is that so patriotic? Way more patriotic than, even standing for somebody that you thought was, in office that was good or whatever, or had similar values to you? Because the formation of this country was of God. This is the roots. God is the root of this country. And we've drifted and we're way off track. And this is not the America that our founders intended. If you think it is, you don't have to go far. Read some of the quotes by our founders, right? What do they proclaim? Democracy, 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 democracy. We go topple other nations. They may live a little differently, but they're sovereign. And we topple them and claim we're spreading democracy. Well, democracy for one. 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner, right? That's it. That's it. Republic is a nation of laws. Laws that inhibit too much action by government, right? Right? It limits them. Democracy is not a good thing. All right, what about tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered? What does that mean? Well, it ties in with this. You have to be, if tyranny rises, if we were not eternally vigilant, right, in the defense of nation and our values and our culture, and when that happens, good times make weak men make bad times make strong men, and it just all the way through, right? Well, weak men, tyranny arises, then it's only the 3% or less that have to stand up for this. We're actually standing up and trying to defend the weak men and the ones that hate us. At the end of the day, it's pretty tough, but it's not easily conquered. It's a system of oppression that is so strong, right? So influential, and they've got you in the mind that you actually promote this. You don't even want to be free. You're like, put the chains on. And we're telling you, you have the key. Take your chains off. If you take your chains off, they look at you as I'm not gonna say the word, but screw it, domestic terrorist. That's what they're gonna call you for wanting to take your chains off and be free, let live, right? Live and let live. I just want to be able to serve my God, and that's it. Don't cross my line. Okay. Well, all that being said, freedom isn't free. That doesn't mean because we've got to sign up for, some type of kingdom and topple other kingdoms. No, what that means is if you're not eternally vigilant and keeping your roots and your foundation secure, known, prominent, understood, right? The children educated on what that means, right? It's all erased. It's gone. It's gone over time. People that wish to control, people that have malice intent, and they always sell malice intent, by the way, as something for the greater good, right? You should close your business, lose everything, right? Destroy all the culture, right? Because guess who's open? Walmart, Target, right? All the big box stores were open. No problem. They made a ton of money. But who got shut down? All the local businesses, right? That kept entire towns, afloat through wages, jobs. But that's the small part of it. The big part of it is that was the culture. You would go to this town, they had that restaurant, and it was talk of the local town. Whatever. Every town had its own culture to some degree, all based off a bigger culture, which was the West. They destroyed all that. They made you little slaves to the establishment, right? The corporate establishment. And he promoted it. Anyways, freedom isn't free. We have to be eternally vigilant. Always. Because weak men, they make really bad times. And we see it now. And guess what? Most of you men out there, God, stand up.